Father West Coast Hip Hop. We're about to do a show, like I say every week, y'all, from the West Coast to the East Coast and everything in between, folks. You are live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. And I am waiting on a good friend of mine to join this call. A brother I roll with, rock the stage with, been in the studio with for quite some time. He's moved on and is doing different things now. I got to get one of my OG crew members right here live on the show. Waiting on Shakespeare, folks. Turn this phone off right now because it's going to be ringing all day long. Waiting on Shakespeare from the World Class Wreckin crew. Come on, join me on the show. Uh, he should be here any minute. In the meantime, folks, it's me and you. This is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. The chat room is open. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Hey,
What up, Shakespeare?
what's up, L.A. Lons, the Grandmaster Lonzo, L.A. Lons. What other names we got for you, Doc? Godfather, West Coast Hip Hop, club promoter extraordinaire. Eve After Dark, Jeffy's Club Hall of Fame. Shall I go further? What else we got? Hollywood Park Casino.
Yes, sir. We do it all. We did it all. How you
Yes,
doing, man?
man, I'm doing great, brother. How you doing?
Dude, I'm sitting here, man. I'm looking at the chat room light up right now, man. I see my boy Romeo, Kevin in the house, Senior Reed in the house. They all saying happy, hello, Godfather. And I'm glad you took time out, man, to jump on this call, jump on this show with me, man. And let's kick it for a minute, Doc. I hadn't seen you since we did the documentary. What you been up to, man?
Hey, man, everything's been great, man. Up here, I'm up here in Sacramento now. Been up here for the past 8 years. I'm in law enforcement. I'm a parole agent. Been doing that for the past 16 years, man. So, hey, just maintaining. The family's hanging in their lawns. These are unprecedented times, as you know. So, man, we just try to keep our head above water and just keep everybody safe, man.
That's a good thing, Doc. Look here, man. A lot of people ask about our relationship, how you got into the crew, because they think you clientele. I said, no, that ain't clientele. I'm looking. I see my girl Gigi Sweet on the line. What's up, Gigi? I see Beverly, Michael Haley. What's up, folks? I can't type right now. I'm trying to talk, but I'm gonna give you a shout out anyway. But yeah, man. We always talk about. We've done things together in the past. And we talk about how you joined the crew, but most people don't know that you was with Ice Cube's crew first.
Absolutely. You know what? If I could back up just a little bit, man, to share that whole story.
Go for it.
I grew up with a good friend of mine, man, named John Miller. We call him Champ. And Champ ended up hooking up with Ice Cube's oldest sister, Sophie, who he's married to this day. They've been married for 30 plus years. But when they were having their son, Lonzo, I ended up going to the hospital, Lil Jon, to see Lil Jon. And I met Ice Cube's other sister, Patricia. Okay. And so, me and Pat, struck up a conversation. One thing led to another. And she introduced me to her younger brother. She told me she had a younger brother who had a group, he's trying to get it off the ground. So, I'm trying to chase after her. So I said, I'd like to meet him and, maybe I could hook up with him. I did a little rapping before and I had just came out of the Navy, man. So, I had hooked up with some cats, Alonzo, from New York and from Philly and from Atlanta. And so, we was doing a little rapping while I was in the Navy. So I said, hey, you know what? I said, hey, maybe I could, add some flavor to what they're already doing. So her little brother turned out to be O'Shea Jackson, which is Ice Cube. And interesting thing, I ended up meeting him and the other members of the group, KD, which is Daryl Williams, and then also Sir Jinx, right, which we know is Dre's cousin. And so Ice Cube and Jinx lived down the street from each other, and they used to rehearse in Jinx's garage at his mother's house.
Okay.
And man, so I had to interview for them, and the song I rapped off was 5 Minutes of Funk,
Okay.
by Houdini. And so I ended up, man, getting in the group. The group was called the Stereo Crew.
Wow.
So I believe it was 1985, 1580 KDA, which we know was the hot radio station back then. They had a best rapper in the West contest.
Okay.
We entered that contest, and we moved up, man, through the contest lines, and we got all the way to the finals. And during that time, I got to say, that was during the time where simultaneously you were doing your thing with Ken Clavens and trying to get the whole, deal signed with Epic Records.
Right.
And so we knew that you guys were going to need another group, and Dre had consented to work with us, regardless of what happened. And so anyway, long story short, we go to the finals, and I believe, Lonzo, we could have won the finals, but back then everybody was using cassettes, and we had our cassette queued up, man. And for some reason, man, when the DJ popped our cassette in, the song, man, didn't start at the beginning. It started like, maybe on the first verse. And so instead of us holding our spot and letting the DJ get it right, Ice Cube goes back, man, and he gets into it with the dude and telling the dude that he's trying to sabotage us, man. And, it caused a little commotion. And so anyway, long story short, we ended up getting second place in the best rapper in the West contest.
Who took first place?
I do not remember, man.
I could have swore it was Champagne Press and Curl.
Yes. I believe you're right.
I could the Champagne Press and Curl, or
I think it was Champagne Press and Curl or somebody like that. You know what? We weren't concerned because we knew that we was already going to hook up with you guys, and like I said, Drayden was going to work with us, and so. Even though afterwards, man, look, record companies was coming to us and saying, hey, look, I like what you guys doing. We like to sit down and talk. But we was already, committed, because at that time, Wreckin Crew had already released Surgery and Juice, and they was already hot. And so we wanted to be part of that whole, project, man, that was going on with you guys. So
that question, how did you feel when I came to you and said, hey, man, why don't you join the Wreckin Crew as opposed to being in Stereo Crew?
Lons, I got to tell you, man, to me, that was one of the greatest days of my life. But I was also a little apprehensive because, hey, man, I had this group and I had these fellas, man, that I committed myself to. And so I said, you know what? I have to talk to them first. And I went to them, and unbeknownst to me, man, they thought it was a fantastic thing, man. They were like, hey, man, this is a great opportunity. Go ahead and jump into that. And, we'll just keep it, the three of us, and we'll just keep it pushing. And so,
now,
man,
how did you feel
I was excited.
You were a lot older than guys, though, right? You were a lot older than Cube and Jinx then, right?
Oh, yeah, man. I probably maybe 10 years, man.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that big of a difference. You right behind me then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had 10 years on them. And so, it worked out being with the older fellas, so, but I remember when I got into the crew, you guys already had a tour set up. And so the thing was, hey, look, man, we're going to bring you in, but when you go out with us this time, you're going to have to be clientele. And then when we get back off tour, right? When we get back off tour, we're going to go in the studio, and then we'll present you, as who you really are. And so, hey, man, I went out and I was clientele, man. And I'll never forget, Lon, the first show I did with you guys was in Pittsburgh, California.
Pittsburgh, California.
And man, listen, I'm on the tour bus with you guys, learning choreography on the bus, learning lyrics to the song. And we get up there in Pittsburgh and we hit the stage, man. And you know, the girls rush the stage, and I'm reaching out, to shake one of these females' hand, man, and they tried to pull me off the stage, man. And security had to come and get me and pull me back, man. And I was scared to death, man, because I thought it was over for me. But that was my introduction, man, to the music business and show business, man, was being there in Pittsburgh and all them girls screaming, man.
Do you
So
remember what happened? When we pulled up to Pittsburgh. What we saw on the marquee. You remember that?
yes, the world class Wrecking Crew featuring Dr. Dre.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, man, we was pissed. Who the hell is who the hell? That
But
was
you know what?
crazy, huh?
And the thing about it after that, man, is I learned, hey, look, if you wanted to get with the girls, you need to align yourself with Dre. You need the room with Dre. And so it was always Antoine trying to room up with Dre, and I ended up with your brother Randy, man. In the room. So, but yeah, man, if you want to get the girls, you better line yourself up with Dre, man, because he was the act, he was it.
Man, that was some crazy times, Doc. I remember you showed me something on the road one time. We was riding through Texas or Louisiana. He said, Lon, look at them signs. You kept showing me these signs about the LA sheriff and the LAPD rolling through Texas and Louisiana about how get a career in law enforcement, join the LAPD. We in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We in
Yes, sir.
Louisiana, and we seeing these signs back in the '80s, and I'm like, wow, that was you noticed it first. That you brought it
Yeah.
to my attention.
And wasn't that a trip, man, to see that out there? We way, man, out in Texas, down south, man, and we seeing this kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. Man, what was one of your favorite situations being with the crew, man? What was one of your favorite things?
Oh man, brother, I got so many. I tell you, one of the craziest ones was I got to go to Texas, man. I got to go when we went to Houston, Texas,
Okay.
and went to Houston, Texas, and never forget this guy's name, Lons. It's over 30 years since we even did anything for this guy. And I never forget his name. His name is Terry Mason. Terry
Okay, I
Mason
remember
booked
that.
us for some
Yeah.
shows, and I'm gonna tell you why you remember him. Um, we did one show for Terry Mason. We did one at, like, it seemed like it was like at a skating rink or something like that, or
Yeah,
something
it was.
place.
Yeah.
And then we did another show after that. I think we had a couple of shows with him. Second show, we do the show, man, and we give it everything we got. And after the show, Terry comes and say, "Hey, what y'all doing?" And you say, "Hey, man, we done, man. We did everything we got, everything in our repertoire." He said, "Well, you guys supposed to do 60 minutes." And I remember you saying, "Lines, well, look, man, brother, we go back up here and sign some autographs or something like that, man. But hey, we ain't got nothing else we can do, man. We
Right.
did it all." And I remember Terry Mason coming on stage, and we had that Oberheim system then,
Right.
with the DMX, drum machine and all that stuff. And Terry Mason, man, hauled off and kicked our equipment down to the stage. And as soon as he kicked it, man, it seemed like you was right there on him. And we trying to pull you back from him, man. This dude turns around and pulls a strap on you, right? And we still trying to hold you back, because it's like, man, you don't care. You cussing and screaming, "MF, you just kicked our equipment down, and you gonna pay for our equipment," and you going after him. And we trying to hold you back, man. And ended up, we finally get control of you. And that dude went on through the crowd, man, and bounced. And I don't even know if we got paid for that show, man. But that was like one of the craziest times, man, that I had. Another one I could tell you about is we was in Beaumont, Texas, It was us, Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters, and I think it might have even been. I don't know if the Force MDs was on that
That's
show,
the
but
Force MDs, yeah.
the Force MDs was on that show with us, and we had another show that we had to do. I think in Tyler, Texas. So we do the show in Beaumont, Texas, right? Uniforms, everything soaking wet. We got to get dressed, man, because we got to go to the plane, man, to get to Tyler, Texas, because we got another show that evening. So, man, we thinking, man, we going to the airport, and the driver, man, is taking us to this little private jet strip, and we're like, wait a minute, what's going on here, man? So we get to the jet strip, man, and it's like this little Cessna plane that they about to put all of us on. And remember, Lons, there was an issue about the equipment, man, and the weight, man. Matter of fact, this was, way before that situation happened with Aaliyah, man. And so, you ended up being the co-pilot up in the cockpit with the pilot. We back there, man. I'm scared to death. I'm praying, man, that this plane would make it, man, to where we going. We ended up, Lons, getting to our destination, right? And here's the other crazy part. We land, and I think it's night by now.
Yep.
When we get off the plane, there's these headlights that are pointing at us from the plane.
Right.
And we said, okay, well, those are guys that are there to pick us up. Man, these dudes had on cowboy hats, right? And they looked just like some real Southern rednecks, that was there to pick us up. And we thought, man,
they just nodded their head. They never said a word the whole time, man.
Never said a word, nodded their head. We thought they was Ku Klux Klan. We was like, oh man, we done came all the way out here, man. This is a setup. And I'll never forget, Lon. So we had to put them wet uniforms back on.
Yes, sir.
And listen, I saw this a few years afterwards, and it cracked me up because it reminded me so much of us. That scene in the 5 Heartbeats, Lons, where they all crowded around that little microphone and they on the chitlin circle, man. That's how the Wreckin crew was, man. We was in that club, but hey, man, them people though, they was with us though.
They sang every word. They sang every word. You forgot one thing: the chicken wire on the stage. Okay,
they had chicken wire around the
stage, and the first thing they said was, "Where the guitars at?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit, this ain't gonna be good at all."
What they said. Where the guitars at? It was like, hey man, ain't no guitars, bro.
Ain't no guitars. Well, we got the plan, and everybody they knew every word to the song. I'm like, white boys out there singing "Surgery" and "Lovers" and "Juice." I'm like, what in the hell is this?
Man, that ended up being one of the good shows, man, because them people, man, they really showed us Southern hospitality, man.
Man, they had so much food for us back there, man.
Oh man, they did, man. It wasn't even funny, man. They had so much food for us, man. When we went down Louisiana, they took care of us down there. We went to Louisiana. We went to Georgia when we was on the campus down there.
Yeah.
They took us. We performed at Prairie View, A&M. I mean, we had the opportunity, man, to really do some nice shows.
I'm looking at the chat room. Chris Snake Puppy is on the line. Told me to tell you say what's up to you, man.
Man, that's my boy, man, Snake, man. Tell him what's happening, Doc.
Adrian's on the line too, man. Adrian Gregory's on the line, our old road manager.
Oh man, Atron, I got a story for Atron. Let me see. Atron was with us. Atron was with us. Remember when we went to we was in, what was it? Was it Sacramento? Where was it, Lons? Where we were, where they had a barricade down the middle of the club.
Oh, yeah. That was Sacramento. They had the 21 on one side and the other. Yeah.
Atron was with us then, man, and man, we went in there and we lit that place up, man, like it was the 4th of July, man. And Atron was with us too. Remember, we was in Hawaii with
with Fat.
Us. We was with Surface and somebody else. And Atron was with us then.
Yeah, we had a good time back there. I mean, it's amazing, dude. I mean, only security we had was Fat and Joe and my brother when he came. But it ain't like it is now, dude. Everybody got to have all the security, and the whole game has changed, dude. It's ridiculous, man. I'm looking at, all we did was all the security we needed was regulate the women.
That's true. I tell you what else, Lons. What was amazing about back then? Well, we would get all these great shows with these people, man. But because the crew was so polished back then, man, we got kicked off of a lot of shows, man.
Yeah, Morris Day did not like us at all.
Oh man, we got kicked off Morris Day in the time. Morris, we were supposed to go out with him. Remember, we went out with him and the Jets and all that. I think our last show with him was in El Paso, Texas, man. Next thing we know, we on our way back to the house, man, because we was lighting him up every night.
And we saw his secret. We found out what the secret was.
Yeah, yep.
we saw secret. Now I never told that story before, but he told people on that shit for a while. But that's why we got busted. He told us we couldn't come. We had to stay in our dressing rooms or go out front. We couldn't be backstage. You must be out your goddamn mind. We from Compton. We don't obey no orders like that from another artist. Are you crazy? And your ass saw him hit that shit.
Remember when his ass, when he got to town, remember he jumped in a limo, but the rest of his group had to get on a bus, man. It was in a van or something.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That was crazy.
What's up with this?
That was a crazy time, man.
Man,
I every time I think about how you came into the Wreckin crew, man, I think about that Mark Wahlberg movie, man.
Rockstar.
Rockstar.
I was a fan, and now I'm one of them, man.
Yeah. You was like the rock star. You just one day you on the sideline, next day you leading the group, man. I never was a lead rapper. Dre ain't no lead rapper. Yella damn sure wasn't no lead rapper.
No.
And we had to have somebody out front once Clientele stepped off. I'm gonna get Clientele on here next, but dude, sometimes we have to just get together. I would love to get Clientele on here with you sometime, because remember that time when you first joined the crew?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a split of the crew. Clientele got some more boys. They went one way.
Yep.
And we went another way. And the promoter we had a promoter in Texas sent his daughter to Louisiana to see us.
Yes.
And we gave her the album cover, and she told us we wasn't us.
That's what she said.
She told us we wasn't us. Y'all ain't that. My daddy got the real crew. Huh? I just happened to have my shirt on today. My Wreckin crew shirt on today. I was in a Wreckin crew kind of mood, and I'm like, I had the same album cover. I showed her me. We didn't let you. We kind of kept you out the picture that time.
Yep.
Yella and Dre, and she still told us that we wasn't us. Okay. I'm like, wow, that's some amazing shit. Okay.
But it was amazing, Lons, to be able to go out and to perform as Clientele. And nobody was none the wiser, man. That just goes to show. We did a whole tour, man, and I was able to go out and be him, man. And I had much love, for Clientele and respect, man, even to this day, And hey, man, I tried to model myself, after him. His style, his phrasing, and all that, because I loved what he did, and so. It was an honor for me, man, to go out and be him. But I was glad to be Shakespeare, man. Glad to be able to come out.
My man Anthony Holmes says this is the kind of stuff I like to hear. Good job, Lonzo and Shakespeare. My man Mike T from CMW says, "What's up?" Domino says, "What's up, Shakespeare?"
What's up,
my boy Frank Tebow from the that way. You know what? One of the Uzi brothers is on the line now. People give me credit for calling the Uzi brothers, But I can't take credit because you called them the Uzi Brothers first. I just made it stick.
Now, Doc, let me ask you this. Did they not look like full force, Doc?
They were some big niggas.
They came in there, but when you talk about talented, man, them cats was talented, man.
My brother Randy hooked me up with them. They was playing to name the game over here off of 120th and Western.
Mm-hmm.
They used to rent my bass speakers every week. They rent my bass speakers. They was rocking. They was putting in major work at the name the game, and they needed some bass. Because my boy Frank, he always he thumped that bass. So they need to have something for him again to get their point across. And
so they wanted them big Sherwin Vegas you had in
Sherwin Vegas. And they every week I'd go pick up my little thing of $25 or $30 I was charging to rent some speakers. And you went with me one day, and you, man, where are we at with the Uzi Brothers or something? And I'm like, man, that's crazy. I laughed my ass off of that. When they decide to come on the road with me, that's what I call them, the Uzi Brothers. That's how they got that.
But man, they were some cold-blooded cats, man.
Man, we toured. We toured. I toured solo with just them. Battle Cat, Richie Rich, and Mona. We did the Turn Off the Lights tour, and after Dre and them left, and man, we had a great time on the road. That's when Battle Cat was like 19 years old. I got so many stories about his crazy ass. He needed to send me a check so I keep my mouth shut.
So that's pre LL Cool J for him.
Pre all that. That's what he was still about 130 pounds. Soaking wet with shoes on. Okay, so yeah, we had some fun back in them days, man. With Bob Dog, because Bob Dog and Will Rock was on his head something terrible.
I know that's right.
And you had to. I'm gonna tell you the story one day. Mike says, "Give him my first." Lonzo gave me my first chance to work in a recording studio, make records. I did it in one night. The record was called West Coast All Stars on Z-Rock. It was a world-class remix. Yes, sir, Mike. I'm going to release that motherfucker, too.
Yeah, it's coming back out again.
You know what? I still got all my Z-Rocks, all my cut-ups, all my bootlegs. I still have all that stuff, man. And I'm going to do something with it. I've been so busy trying to do the documentary, some other stuff. I just hadn't gotten around to doing a lot of things I want to do. But yeah, Mike T, you that's right, Doc. It all started right here with the remix on Z-Rock. And people don't realize Z-Rock was supposed to be like Z-Rocks as a copy machine. That's how we that name around. So for all my hip-hop heads, if you got any questions for Shakespeare, hit him up, folks. Hit us right here in the chat room. You're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip-hop, and my main man, Shakespeare, from the world-class record crew, folks. This is our first interview. Now, I was tripping on this, man. I've been on the air. It was a year last week. Okay, wow. November 11th was my first show on Facebook Live.
Wow.
I was doing all music show. I was doing all new music, and it was fun. I enjoyed doing it, but Facebook started tripping on music, and a lot of people were sending me stuff from YouTube and Spotify, and that shit gets muted on the replay. So I decided to keep the show going and do this talk show. And I want to do something different. And that's why I'm doing it live. We're live on Facebook right now. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. So wow. We're gonna be getting some long-term residual feedback on this interview, Doc. So I'm glad you took time out to do it. You're looking good, boy.
Thank you, man. Hey, you too, brother. You too, man. You look like you dropped in the fountain of youth somewhere, man. You ain't changed a bit, bro. Hey, man.
That just for me into something else, boy. That's some bad shit. Huh?
Do you remember when we recorded Wrapped in Romance and we went to go see Larkin Arnold? We took him to demo.
Larkin Arnold was our executive producer. Let me tell them who it is so they'll know. Okay, he was our executive producer at World Class on CBS. And he was also the man. He also produced Michael Jackson and Frankie Beverly and Mays, Luther Vandross, Kenny Marie. Everybody, tell them the story now.
Everybody came through Larkin Arnold. But we sat down, Larkin Arnold. We played the whole album for him, and after he heard the album, he said to you, "Okay, man, when can we start pressing?" And you said, "Pressing?" He said, "Man, that's just a demo."
Yeah.
He said, "The demo?" He said, "Yeah, man, that's just a demo. We haven't even recorded that." And he was so impressed, man, with and we had recorded that, man, back
In the
in the
studio.
back of your house in the studio
In the back on the 4-track.
on the 4-track.
On the
And man,
4-track.
he thought that was the album.
Yep. Yep. But he also said, I'll never forget this as long as I live. All right, I like this, but I need a free world. And what do we do?
Yeah. Yep.
What do we do then?
That's when we went in there and did the fly and all that, and
Yes,
World
sir.
Class Freak.
Yes, sir. Went in and did the fly. And boy, thank God that we didn't have the same issues they have today with music, essence of music. Because the fly and free world, them some bitches is twins, okay?
Yeah.
If you listen to the fly, listen to free world, them some bitches is twins.
It's the
Okay.
exact same record.
All right. So yeah. What's up, Bond? Sir Uncle Buck. What's up, Sir Uncle Buck? A documentary should be out, man, 2021. I'm looking for the first cut in the next couple days, man. So the world class N.W.A. Not Without a Lonzo documentary is coming very soon. Now, I had a question for you, dude.
Yes, sir.
After the crew broke up, why didn't you become a member of N.W.A? You had the option, right?
Yeah, I did. You know what, Lons, for me, this is an opportunity just to get it out there, man. For me, man, I always had that tug on me, man, that there was something more that I should have been doing. And I tell you a story, man. I grew up in a family church. And when I mean a family church, I grew up in a church where my uncle was the pastor, my aunt was the first lady, my grandmother was over the deaconess board, and it was just full of my family, man, my uncles and my aunts. And so, one thing back then, man, when church was, how it was back then, one thing you did not do, man, was you never went in that pulpit in the church. Right. That pulpit was sacred, man. It was a place that was reserved for the pastors. And so one day, me and my little brother, man, was down there at the church. And we was running around, man, playing in the church, running through, while they was back there having a meeting, man. This is on a Saturday. And I ended up, Lons, going up to that pulpit, man. And I'm in that pulpit and I'm up there trying to imitate my uncle like I'm preaching. Well, my little brother, Andre, he the first thing he said was, "Hey, you ain't supposed to be in that pulpit, and I'm getting ready to go tell on you." So he ran off like he was going to tell my grandmother on me. But lo and behold, Lon, she was standing at the door watching me up in that pulpit. And she told me this story years later that, she said when she saw me up in that pulpit, she knew that I had a calling on my life, man, to preach. Now, I didn't know it then, and, fast forward, we in the crew and we out doing our thing. But when the opportunity, man, came to join N.W.A, Lons, I couldn't do records, man, that I wasn't going to be able to bring home, man, and play for my family.
Okay.
And I had high regard, man, for my parents, for my mom, and for my dad, especially for my mom, man. I always wanted to be the good son to her, and I never wanted to disappoint my mom or anything like that. And so for me, it was just a no-brainer for me, man, that I couldn't do music that I couldn't bring home, man, and play, for my family. Because, man, there's no way in the world, man, I'm gonna bring home, man, and play no record for my mom. And, I'm calling them some woman a bitch, or I'm saying a curse word on there, man. I just couldn't do it. And so the decision was kind of made for me, man. Hey, like, maybe it's time for me to find, another vocation. And so I turned that down, man. You know.
I remember
And,
seeing you at MacArthur. No, I was by the Coliseum, and I'm
hmm
like, I walked up. I'm like, what in the world? And there you was preaching. Okay,
Yep.
there you were preaching. You know,
Yes, sir.
I was blown away, Doc. I know every time we walked on the stage, Wrecking Crew always you always led us in a prayer before we hit the stage. Make sure
hmm
I stepped with Chris and our vocals was tight, and all that. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I often wondered why you didn't, because at one point in time, people don't realize the Ruthless is basically Wrecking Crew with radio shit on. I mean,
That's
the
all.
crew cut with radio shit on. Okay, so
That's it. And you know, Lonzo,
go ahead.
it's funny, man. August 6th, 1989. Now, while Dre them is dropping straight out of Compton,
Mm-hmm.
August 6th, 1989, man, I was in a pulpit in a little church called the Blessed Missionary Baptist Church. Used to be on the corner of 54th and 11th Avenue, cross street from the post office. That
Okay.
was the day, man, I preached my first sermon, man. And
Wow.
man, here's the interesting thing. I was scared to death because um, my dad, even though we grew up in a family church, my dad really had a distaste for preachers. And
Mm.
I tell you, I tell you why. My dad told me this story, man, that when he was a little boy, he grew up in Marshall, Texas. My dad say that they were at church one Sunday, and he fell asleep in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And my great grandfather, then, man, after church, they got in the wagon, man, and they went on to the house, not knowing that he wasn't with them. So my dad said he woke up. And he said he knew that the pastor always had a pitcher of water up in the pulpit. So he was
Okay.
thirsty, and he said he went up there to go get him some water. And Lons, he said he poured in a big old glass of that water, man. It turned out it wasn't water, it was white lightning. My daddy said, man, all them years he thought that this man was drinking water up there. This man was drinking white lightning. And he said, man, there was no way, man, that he could tell, my grandmother or my great grandfather, man, her father, that, this man was drinking in the pulpit, because, they would have called him a lie, man, and they would have beat him within an inch of his life. And so, from then on, man, he had a distrust, man, of preachers, man, because we had a few in the family that was, that was crooks and that was in it for the hustle. And so the greatest moment for me, man, after I preached my first sermon and, the family was having remarks in the church, my dad was the last one to speak. And my dad said, I thought the proudest moment of my life was when my son got into the music industry. And, he was able to travel around and do all these different shows and put out records. But he said, now I know today that, this is what my son was called to do. And he said, this is the proudest moment of my life. And so when my dad, man, gave me that nod right there, man, it just gave me joy, man, because I knew how, like I said, how he felt about preachers, and for him to say that, man, about me, his son, man, it just really meant a lot for me. And so,
Right on, man. I'm glad to hear that, Doc. Yella is just shy. He's a deacon now, of all
mhm,
people. Good
of
point on
all,
making Yella is now a deacon. Okay, in the church.
and
Okay.
man, I got some stories of Yella, man. Look, me and Yella, we went to Hawaii, man. After we originally went with the Wrecking Crew, me and Yella went back to Hawaii twice ourselves, man. And
Did
yeah,
you?
yes, we did. And I got the pictures and everything to prove it, man. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah,
That's
but to hear that, he got in the church, man. I'm really thankful, man. That he made that change in his life, because I understand he went through some rough times, after N.W.A. And so, I'm really happy for him, man, that he found his way and he's doing something, man, positive and something that's, giving his life meaning.
What was crazy though? What was crazy, man? Was really crazy, dude. Pat Yella's pastor. I've been knowing him for quite some time. We both did public access shows in Compton,
Yeah.
and I saw him at the Christmas parade in Compton. He said, "Man, you ought to come to the church tomorrow. Your boy gonna be speaking." I'm like, "Huh?" I said, "Who?" He said, "Yella." I'm like, "Huh?" He said, "Yeah, Yella gonna be speaking at church tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh no!" So I didn't think no more about it. I said, "I might show up, man." I figured he was just gonna be doing, some lightweight reading reading the report or something. You know what I'm saying? And the next day, unknown came by the house and he said, "Hey man, what you doing?" I said, "I ain't doing nothing." He said, "Man, let's roll down to the other church. I heard he's speaking." I said, "You know what? I did hear about that, man. Let's go." So we go down to the Yellows Church down there in Harbor City. And I saw him. We kick it. We took some pictures, hang out, blah 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 blah. I saw the pastor. Come to find out, I didn't know the pastor. I knew the pastor's brother. We both named Lonzo. We kick it. I've seen this brother at the gym forever, so I felt real comfortable. So man, they start the service, and Yella. And after they do all the opening and the benediction or whatever, they call Yella up to speak. So me and Unknown sitting back in the back of the church, we just kicking it. Church was packed, and Yellow said first thing he said was, in order for me to do what I got to do, I got to forgive. I got to learn to forgive. And he said the first thing I want to do is forgive that brother right there. And I'm looking around. He pointing at me. Okay, I want to forgive him. I want to say I'm sorry. I'm like, I didn't get it there first, and he started talking. And it was really interesting, man, because he had a grudge against me for something. We never really got into the details, but he let it go, and we've been cool ever since. I mean, I never was mad at nobody. I don't hold a grudge against anybody. Okay, everybody went on to do what they felt was best for them, but it was something. He had something inside of him that he was fighting, holding against me. And he let right there in front of everybody, man. He made this testimony about his his hard times and how when he found God, things changed for him. And he's a different dude, man. He's a different dude. He came by here earlier this year and talked to me and clientele about getting the crew together and hitting the road. And we had plans on doing some shows before Corona came and hit us all upside the head. Okay, so from him to go from N.W.A to want to roll back with the crew, man, I was really shocked, dude. I was blown away. Okay, and he said, I tell you what he told me. He said, "Man, I need to talk to you. I had a dream. My pastor said I need to talk to you. Come on, man, let's talk." And he came by the house, man. And he says the pastor told him he needed to get with the Wreckin crew, get back with the Wreckin crew, get with Lonzo, and get back with the Wreckin crew. And I'm like, wow. And dude, like I said, we sat here for like 4 hours plotting and planning how we can make some things happen. I called JJ Fad and Arabian and Digital Underground and Snake Puppy, and let's see what we can do, man. And right, as soon as we had everything pretty much on the table, COVID hit and shut the door on everybody. So you disappeared, man. Your audio died. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I got you. Go ahead.
Okay, Lonzo. When you was talking about Yella, the only thing that can come to mind, and I'm glad that we able to even share this together, because a lot of people were under the misconception that, hey, the reason why Dre them left Lonzo is because Lonzo was beating people out of their money and this and that, and and maybe you could shed light on this, because you and I have talked, and I already know the story. When we did Turn Off the Lights,
mm-hmm.
or it might even been when we did Cabbage Patch Them. But I'm thinking it's right. When we did Turn Off the Lights.
We did Cabbage Patch first.
remember when Timex Social Club, you remember how they got that injunction against Macola Records?
Right.
The lead singer, whatever, it said
Right.
that,
Right.
there was some shady stuff going on. And so anyway, Macola and them, they had an injunction. Nobody was getting paid nothing.
Right.
And some kind of way, you were able to get some money from Don, but Jerry Heller, I think, poisoned the well by saying that, hey, Lonzo got some money and he paid his house, but he ain't paying you guys.
What happened was the money I put up for the record, I was able to sell some records to recoup my investment.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Heller, he was around, but he didn't know. He was already our manager. He didn't get no parts of that money because he didn't put no money up. Okay.
Right.
And I don't know whether he was pissed or what, but he just made it seem like I had done something that wasn't right. But anybody knows that when you put up an investment, the first money in, first money out. I'm the only one ever put any money up. So I got my money back. And next thing I know, everybody was mad at me because I got my money back.
So we have a meeting, at the table, at the dining room table, and Dre and Yella, they pissed because they think you done got this money, and they talking about, well, I'm out, man, I'm done, but that's also too because, of course, Easy had dangled the carrot in front of them too, and so they had to find a way, man, to to get out of one thing to jump into another.
That was my second time them leaving though. They left before. You didn't know Big Shirley, did you?
Yeah, I remember Big Shirley.
They left. Big Shirley. I did a licensing deal. My first licensing deal was with Dance Fever, Danny Terrio, Dance Fever.
Right.
They danced the Juice, and they gave me $300 to license Juice for them to dance to on the record. Well, okay. Shirley told them niggas I got 300,000. Okay,
oh, man, come on.
And we were so dumb. We all was dumb, but they was a lot dumber. Okay, yeah. Lonzo got $300,000 for the record, and it's all on television. And he bought houses in Compton and all over Compton and blah blah blah. And they left me there, and I had to go find them all. That was when clientele it all left. Clientele didn't come back. Came back for a minute, then he left. But yeah, it was man. That wasn't the first time we fell out. It was it was real hard. I think for me, not knowing the record business at all. I mean, I've been in business since I was 19, but to be in the record business ain't like no other business. Okay, it's all kind of other shit you have to be aware of. And I was using my old club business. Hey man, we sell these records. This your cut. I'm gonna get my money back. This is what it costs to press the record. Here go your cut. Here go your cut. Here go your cut. I didn't worry about no publishing. I didn't know about no publishing. I didn't know about no writers. I just, hey man, go some money. Okay.
Yeah.
And as fast as I gave it to them, they spent it. But they had a bad habit saying I didn't pay them. I remember clearly the day after we got our CBS check. I felt like 5 heartbeats because everybody had a new car. You came up with the 280.
The 280Z. Right.
Come back with a Porsche. Dre already had the RX-7. I had more damn foreign cars in front of my house.
You had the BMW then.
I had the Beamer, so we got nothing but foreign cars in front of my house, man. It was crazy. It was crazy, dude. It was crazy. I mean, I think about my house. I think about some of the activities. I mean, at any given time, you see anybody at the pad, man. You see a young DJ Pooh, a young Warren G. I mean, I just saw Warren G today. Snoop gave him a motorcycle and a El Camino for his 50th birthday. I remember Warren was like 8, 9 years old.
Wow. Yes, he was.
A little E, man, was 3, 4 years old, hanging out with Easy. It was just a whole different time. And I'm actually doing a documentary. I'm actually planning on doing a documentary on my venues, my house, the Eve After Dark, and Dudos and Skateland. Just talk about the venues of how each one of the venues played a different role in West Coast hip hop. I mean, I got my story. my story is me in those venues. Each one of those venues had a different part in playing a different role in West Coast hip hop, and I just think some things are just fun to do. I got my own cameras. I got a, and we can do it. So
Doc, you
I'm
remember?
with you again.
I remember we would pull up to the house, man. Etta James lived across the street from you.
Yes, sir.
The Whispers would be there, man. The Twins would be,
Right, baby, next door. Yep.
right next door. So yeah,
They still come through from time to time.
we
So
used to
yeah, man.
witness all of that.
Huh?
I said we used to witness all of that, man.
Yeah. And it's funny, Doc. Did you ever think Dre would become who he is, man?
Man, not as big as he ended up becoming. But you and I got a story. I don't even know if you even want to go there with that.
I told the story before. I told the story in Straight Out of Welcome to Death Row, and when I said it, I didn't think nothing about it. Okay, and the way they way they edited that shit, man, it looked a whole lot worse than what it was. Because when I said that, he said he would sell his soul to a devil for $1 million. They cut straight to Suge Knight. And you're the only person that was there. Huh? They cut straight to Suge Knight. Like, damn.
And Doc, we looked at each other, man, and was like, man, this dude's a fool, man. But
and I have, I don't like putting nothing like that out there, but I have never known anybody to say that in my life. I don't know no other billionaires either. Okay.
No.
I have never heard anybody in my life say that. I've never seen anybody have that kind of success either. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Lons, and I don't want to get on here and preach, but there's a passage in the Bible that said, "What is the profit of man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" Because the bottom line is this, man. When you look at life, everything, man, down here is temporary. I mean, the houses we live in, the cars we drive, what you got in your bank account, what I got in my bank account, your 401k, whatever the case may be, all of it's temporary, man. And I say that because you and I, man, we've seen several funerals. We've seen several high-profile people's funerals. And like Denzel Washington said he never seen a Brinks truck following a successful person. So the bottom line is, man, listen, whatever you make down here, it is for this planet. None of that is leaving here. And so for me, man, I want to have a body of work that's not just temporal, meaning that it's not just temporary, man. I want my work to follow me to wherever I'm going.
Okay.
And so, success is great. Hey, being in the music business is great. Making movies is great. But when you leave here, you're going somewhere.
Speaking of movies, got to talk about it. When you first got into Compton, how did you feel about that movie, man? What'd you think about that?
As you and I have discussed, it was a whitewash because they really didn't, cover, the things that they should have covered. And some of the stuff that they covered was Hollywood threw together, like the scene with you and you getting pissed with Dre because he let Ice Cube up on the mic, and none of that stuff never happened. Man.
Tell the story behind you know the story behind that, right?
Doc, you know that never happened. Ice Cube never got up on the stage and rapped up there. I don't know what they're talking about. So,
right.
Share it.
That was the true story. It was never Ice Cube. It was Jinx, and it wasn't a gangster rap at all. It was Jinx did a song called My Penis. Okay.
Yes, he did.
He had a song called My Penis, and he did it at Dudo's. Okay. Now, people don't realize Dudos, when I went to Dudos, I hired off duty cops to be
Yep.
my security. Okay. And I was cool with all of them. One of the cops was my first cousin. He had me
Compton
a
police.
few with boys. And one of these guys was a lieutenant. He was a lieutenant named Lieutenant Elvis. Elvis, we was real cool. And after Jinx did this song, I never heard him do the song. All I know is Elvis came, he made a beeline straight to me and says, Lonzo, I like working for you, but don't make me do my job. What are you talking about? I could arrest you right now. For what? He said, I could arrest you right now for the contributing to the delinquency of a minor. For what? You let that guy do an X-rated song in front of all these kids, because Doodles had a much lower age limit, like 14, 15. I said, what are you talking about? He says, he just talked about his dick for 5 minutes on the stage and you didn't stop it. I didn't hear it. Meanwhile, this dude is serious. And people have to understand, back in 86, 85, 86, it was a different tone of the streets, okay? And he was really seriously scolding me. And if I hadn't been cool with him, he would have cited me, maybe arrested me for contributing to the delinquency of a minor, for allowing Jinx to talk about his dick on record. Okay.
Yeah.
And when he jumped on me, I jumped on Dre. And that was a scenario that led to me. They just replaced people. They replaced Cube with Jinx and said it was gangster rap, because I don't recall Cube ever being a Dudos.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't recall that either. That's why I'm saying they they put a lot of stuff in there, that didn't really happen, or they changed up the story, and and
second of all, remember, here's this part. I didn't meet you till after we were out of Dudos, right?
Correct. You were out of Dudos.
You was with Cube doing CIA long after we did Dudos. You never played Dudos. Did you ever come to Dudos at all?
No.
Okay, so you never came to Dudos. CIA never. Stereo Crew never played Dudos. And when Stereo Crew made their first record, it was called She's a Skag. Okay. Then they was on Crew Cut. They made Cash something, an Illin something.
Criminals in Action.
It was Criminals in Action. And they made records that sounded like the Beastie Boys. If you think I'm lying, go to YouTube, type in CIA. Mm-hmm. I never heard Ice Cube in my life do a gangster lyric live until I went to see him in the show about 4 or 5 years ago. A buddy of mine was his bodyguard, gave me some backstage passes. Now the first time, because I never went to an N.W.A. concert. When I saw him live at the show, that was my first time ever hearing him do a gangster lyric live, other than being on, other than record, but never in person. Good night, Beverly. My man said he got one of the CI records. Look on the record. I mean, when he was with Crew Cut, that's what he did. He was doing I called them Beastie Boy imitation, because they all sound like the Beastie Boys. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
And that's what they did. So when they left and went to start talking about bitches and hoes, that was long after Dudos, long after Skateland. They came back to Skateland and did some shows, but I wasn't involved in them. So I wasn't around there. I was already doing something else. So yeah, folks, I have to have somebody who was there, because I feel this question so much. This question has become a permanent part of my life, and anytime I do a speech or do a presentation at any college or high school, this always comes up. Why was you so against gangster rap? I had never heard gangster rap before in my life. Okay, I didn't hear gangster rap that was on the record. Jinx was trying to do some Luke Skywalker shit. Okay, with that my penis. Okay.
Well, Lon, since you brought it up, since you let the cat out of the bag, let's talk about it. Boys in the Hood. We laughed like hell. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and the fellas, not you. We laughed like hell because we came in the house saying, man, you ought to hear Easy out there trying to rap and do this song. And tell everybody what was your exact words to us about that song with
I
Easy.
told them, I said, look, man, I said, y'all, hey, it ain't that bad, dude. You got to remember the hottest song right now is called "Pickin' Boogers," okay, by Biz Markie. He had a song called "Pickin' Boogers," and it was a hot song on K-Day. I said, don't laugh. I was the only one thought he had a shot. Everybody else was rolling, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, boy, you sure can't twist up the truth. I'm the only one that gave him any kind of shot whatsoever. And Dre laughed, Yellow was falling out. You laughed. All right, I get to hold my tongue. And I'm like, hey man, don't laugh. Stranger things have happened, and you see what happened.
We never would have thought in a million years that song would blow up like that with Easy.
Nope. And nobody, they sure didn't. And I tell people all the time, my problem was never with the music, it was always with the name. And like you, okay, I come from a different background. Okay.
Yep.
I'm a little older than all y'all. So for somebody to call somebody a nigga in my day was straight up, nah, we didn't do that in public. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And to name a group of niggas with attitudes at that time was something I couldn't roll with. And like you, like you, but unlike you, I had a daughter at that time. My
Yep.
daughter was 11 years old, and I can't do that, man. I can't support that. I can't support bitches and hoes. I got a daughter. I have sisters and mamas and shit. No, I can't do that. So it is what it is, and I ain't mad at nobody, but ain't nobody mad at me. So it's all good.
And it caught on. I mean, it caught on. But for me, man, listen, I'm not gonna go out there and sing a bitch is a bitch. Because I got a mama, I got a sister, and hey, I ain't gonna go out there and I just can't do that. But some people can. Everybody got they filter.
Right.
And
Right. Everybody got one. Speaking of filters, what did you think about today's hip hop, man?
Oh man, it's a long way from what we've done. Now, some of the stuff I like, some of Kendrick Lamar stuff. I mean, I think he puts out some good product. But man, the hip hop game laws and totally changed, man, from where it used to be.
You know what? Let me do a couple of shout outs right quick. Good night, Miss Beverly Jones, Frank Tebow in the house. Empty Great, thank you for checking in. CC Funk One, thank you for checking in, folks. The Gas Giants is on the line. The T Ross, the J Ross theory. He just said, I remember my posse by CIA side, just like the BC Boys. Yes, sir. Thank you for confirming that. Frank Tebow, like I said, he's on the line. I like give my people a chance. Shout them out, man. Char Willie, what's up, baby? Thank you for chiming in. Big Rob's in the house. King Creole's in the house. K Jam 7's in the house. Kevin Jenkins in the house. Uncle Buck, what's up, folks? Bond. So yeah, folks, we got a few folks online, man. We got about and I'm gonna tell you something else. For a live show, we got more people watching this show right now than I did when I was doing music. Usually I got all my views after the fact on the music till they start muting and stuff. And I might get about 20 people at the most. We got more people right now. We've had more people on this podcast right here than I had in most of my music shows. That means we're doing something better, doing something good. So it's all good, man. So tell me, you got married, you got a young daughter, right? You started over getting 55, something like that.
Man, yeah, I have a 7-year-old and an 11-year-old. So
and you're like 75 now, right? 75.
No, brother, not that old, man. I just hit the big 60, man, in January. So
wow.
Hey man, I'm thankful.
You're looking good,
for that. Yes, sir, man. God is good, man. So
you're looking good, man.
You know what? Hey man, we all blessed, man, to be alive during this time, man. With like you said, with the corona and what it's doing and how it's devastating, families and taking people down, man. We're blessed to be here. But yeah, man, I have a 7-year-old Brooklyn and an 11-year-old Taylor, and my daughter is 32, and I know what Erica is. What, big 40?
45, baby. She waiting on the ARP card.
Oh,
She's trying to get that.
Wow.
She's 45. She a principal
You know
out
what
in.
that says for us, man? Because Erica was like what 7 or something when we was doing our thing, man.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. She's like 10 or 11.
yeah. Wow.
Yep. So yeah, man. Dude. It's but we've been on the air now over an hour, man. I really appreciate you taking out your time to do this show, and I see we got a lot of love on the chat room, folks. I can't respond to everybody like I like to. I see my boy Ted Stone's in the house. What's up,
All
Ted?
right, Ted.
Much love to everybody for hanging out. This is gonna be on my podcast. Oh, also today, man, I gotta tell you this. Today is like I think the 30th anniversary of the grand opening of Skateland. I got a poster.
Wow.
Craig gave me a poster.
Wow.
November 17th on the Saturday night. Wreckin crew and Greg Mack and K-Day open Skateland, and tomorrow Thursday I'm doing a live show with my man Craig Schweisinger from Skateland to talk about Skateland and all the fun we had over there and all the stuff we did, man.
We had a ball over there. You know what? In my garage, man, somewhere I got some posters, man, of us.
Dude.
With that, you know.
I would love to see them, man. What you
But
gonna do with them?
Lons, isn't it amazing as we wrap up? Isn't it amazing the timeliness or the timelessness, I should say, of Turn Off the Lights, man.
Man,
that's one song that never ceased to amaze me, man. I mean, that song is what 33 years old, I believe it is.
35 at least, man. Got to be at least 35.
What it came out? What 87?
Yeah, by 87. Yeah,
87, man. And so you talking about 33 years, man. And that song, man, people still, you know, singing that song, man, like it just came out yesterday, man.
You know what I'm gonna do, man? Somebody just gave me an ID. Mike, what's up, CMW gang? That's Mike T. I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call Mona. I'm gonna call Clientele. We're gonna do a Wreckin Crew reunion live on YouTube and on YouTube and Facebook, man.
Man, let's do it, brother.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna call Mona up. I'm gonna call Clientele. We're gonna grab it in the hopefully the next week or two. We're gonna grab all the folks up. And I'm gonna reach out for Yella.
Man, grab Antoine, man.
I'm gonna reach out for Yella, man.
Boy, man.
I know Dre ain't gonna come online. He don't do interviews like that. But if I can get Yella, I know I can get Clientele. Mona, but she's glad to do it, and I know you'll be here. And I'm gonna reach out for Yella. And if I could get him on there, man, it'd be great, dude. Just to sit there and kick it, because we had one code word that was crazy as hell, and that was sound check.
Right. To this day, brother.
Sound check.
Sound check.
Somebody yelled sound check. Somebody just farted in the van. Yes.
But listen, man, one of the baddest shows, man, we did, and you can go on YouTube and Google it, UK Fresh 86.
Come on, man.
And if they do UK Fresh 86 and put in World Class Wrecking Crew, we lit London up, man. We blew that Palladium up, bruh.
Yes, we did.
I mean, they had Roxanne Shante, Real Roxanne, African Bambaataa, all the New York hip, Houdini, all of them. We blew their asses up like the World Trade Center.
So we took our stage performance very serious. Okay, yeah. We rehearsed. We had costumes. Yes. And we was very competitive. We just didn't walk on stage and get out, holler the microphone for 35, 40 minutes, get a check and leave. No, we want to leave this something, nigga, because I remember, no, you wasn't with us I think you had left. When I was with Battle Cat and them, we was on a tour with Zap, Roger and Zap. Roger was still alive. We was on tour with Zap. We played Lake Charles, Louisiana. Two things happened that day. We got our asses brought to us by Zap. I met Kevin Nash from KGLH. Kevin Nash was like on the radio. Same voice he got right now. Same voice he has right now. But he had that voice when he was like 15. We did
Now wait a minute, Lons. I remember us meeting Kevin Nash in Louisiana, though. Remember?
okay, maybe we were still together.
Yes, we met Kevin Nash in Louisiana, bro.
Yeah, with Boss Hog Man. Yeah. And we played with Zap. It was Lake Charles, Louisiana. Played with Zap, and somehow or another, Zap had to go on. Usually they would close the show. They let us go maybe second or third. I always like going on third or fourth. It was a 5-act show. I like going on third or fourth. I never wanted to be the last act because either people are tired, people start leaving, but Zap can hold the crowd. Zap can hold the crowd. And man, they put us on last. I was mad because that dude, man, that Roger Troutman.
Roger Troutman. After he got through doing this thing, there was nothing left.
It didn't left. It didn't left. And see, I used to pull off my pants for turn off the lights.
Yeah.
And he take his pants off. He had no stockings. I ain't wearing no stockings. Okay. Oh man, it was crazy, dude. It was a crazy ass show. But yeah, man, that's when I met Cool Mo D for the first time. Yep. But anyway, dude. Anything you want to say in closing, man?
Man, I just want to say, man, you know what? I'm thankful for all the wonderful years, man, that, we've been friends, and for all the great times, man, that we had on the road and in the studio, man. One of the things about being in a band, is your bandmates become like your brothers.
Yeah.
And, people don't know, because they weren't there from the beginning, but we used to go down to Steve's, man, and split, pastrami's, man, or a hamburger. We didn't have much money back then, but whatever we had, we threw it in the pot, and it was all good.
I tell people, I said, man, we go to Steve's right there, the El Segundo in Normandy, get a pastrami sandwich, cut that sandwich into 4 slices, okay? Yes, and get a soda a piece, and that's what we ate, man. Or we get a bucket of chicken, 8-piece, and we share that 8, and we all got 2 apiece. But I got the 1 big piece.
Yep, you got that breast right there from Golden Bird over there.
Yeah. And that's what made the difference, Doc. That's what made a difference. That was part of the struggle love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They call it that struggle love, and that's when the crew was coming up. Nobody had no money but me. Well, I had a couple dollars. I wasn't rich, but I had a couple dollars. And we all would be here. Everybody would be here. My refrigerator was open. Bedrooms was open. If these walls in the studio could talk, boy, if I could scrape the DNA off this wall, I could probably clone Dre's ass.
Listen, before that movie Hot Tub Fever came out, Doc, we made Hot Tub Fever ourselves.
They don't know, man. They don't know, because I was telling somebody the other day. I said I had a hot tub. We was doing shit over here. They was making videos about 10 years later. Okay. We did shit back in the day that they started making videos about later on. It might have got the idea from us.
But Lonzo, you know what? I just hate, man, that money came in and just kind of ruined the whole thing, man. It just spoiled it all. Because back then all we had, man, was love for each other, man. It was love for the music, love for each other. And hey, man, we got in and we did our thing, man. And we went out and kicked ass and took names, man. But once the money entered the picture, the game changed, man.
Everything happens for a reason, Doc, but you never know. As long as we here, as long as we breathing, we stick at action and getting something together.
That's right.
Let's roll up. Let's wrap it up, Doc. Today on my show, man, my boy, group mate, partner, friend, pastor, my man, Barry Severe, a.k.a. Shakespeare of the world-class Wreckin crew, folks. I thank all y'all for tuning in and watching the show. Barry, you got anything you want to say before you leave, man?
Man, I just want to thank all our fans and friends, man, just for the support and love that they have given us. And Lons, to you, man, for holding down Compton, man. You the unofficial mayor, man, of Compton, bro. Because, I mean, you've been holding it down, man, for 40, 50 plus years, bro, right there in Compton. You never left the hood. You never forgot where you came from, man. Whenever they reach out to you, you always try to reach back, man. And I tip my hat to you, man, because, I appreciate what you're doing right now with the young folks, man, and those who are trying to get into the music business and how you imparting that game to them, man. That's really needed right there, right now, man. And so, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing, baby. And the light gonna continue to shine on you, bro.
All right, folks. That's my man Shakespeare from World Class Record Crew. Before I go, Squirrel Boy 318. Much love to you, Doc. Empty Great, Martin Cozy, Ted Stones, DJ Domino, all y'all. Frank Tebow. We out of here, y'all. Till next time. Stay tuned. I'll be back on Thursday with my man Craig from Skateland. 3:00. We going live, folks. In the meantime, don't forget, y'all, subscribe, like, and share this video. Much love. Peace, folks.
Much love. Peace. Yeah. Love y'all.